Hello and namaste, my dear friends. I am Jill Loftus of Nuit Astrology. Welcome to your planetary energy forecast for the week of July the 28th, 2025. This week is all about Venus being under pressure. Now, she does start the week in a beautiful connection with Chiron. She started that last week. So I feel like a lot of the energy of this week is about sensitivity, healing, money, love, and what really matters to us. All right. So I feel like you'll get a few messages from Venus's contact with Chiron. And in fact, this week, Chiron will station in the sky and begin to move backwards. Chiron is at the very late degrees of Aries, 27. And so there's something here that we've been really working on for a long time. Chiron has this very odd orbit. It doesn't fit in with other bodies in space, hence the correlation with the healer Chiron, who felt not just rejected by his mother at birth, but also rejected by the other centaurs. Chiron is the principle of healing. It is the principle of solving problems, of realizing that maybe we don't fit in for a purpose, that maybe we don't run with what you might consider to be the normal crowd or fit in with everyone else. And that's because we have unique skills and talents, and that doesn't diminish who we are. So this week, really, I think the emphasis is on really admiring and appreciating all the work that you've done on yourself and the progress that you've made, and also revealing to you the work that remains to be done. You know, we just recently moved to Portugal. And we've been renovating this house. Mostly other people have been renovating this house because we don't have the skill set, right? These are different building materials than we are used to. And so it's been a real process. And every so often, it feels overwhelming. We look at everything that needs to be done, and it's just, it just feels like too much. And so often we will sit down and make a list of our wins. Make a list of all the things that we've already accomplished. It's kind of like when you make a to-do list and you already, you go ahead and like add a few things on it. Maybe only I do this, but add a couple things on it that you already knocked out that morning, because it's like, it feels so satisfying to like cross them off, right? So this is a week that you really have to give yourself some props, give yourself some credit for all the growth that you've experienced, all the things that you've been through that have helped you to develop the skills that you needed, things your soul decided it needed to experience in order to build certain strengths and talents, all right? So really focus on that as we move through the week. Now, after Venus spends some beautiful time with that Chiron, we're going to begin to get the Sun and Mercury walking together. So Sun and Mercury very close in Leo. And so there's a lot of desire to express ourselves. But we remember, Mercury is retrograde. And when it gets close to the sun, it even gets more wonky. And so watch that you're not falling into shadow of Leo behaviors, especially Leo and Mercury, causing drama, not using a filter, saying things that just kind of ignite some kind of controversy. Don't get on there and drop some kind of verbal bomb on social media and then be surprised when you wake up in the morning, okay? This is a little bit of a caution flag up. But then remember, the Cazimi point will come. The sun will merge with Mercury and empower it, and that happens on the 31st. And that is the moment that we watch for. We watch for the message, the new idea, the illumination that comes from that. Now, the other thing that we watch all week long is as Venus gets closer to the end of Gemini, she's going to start to send difficult energy over to Saturn and to Neptune. And then as soon as she steps into the sign of Cancer, which is on the 30th, it's late in the evening, so depending on your time zone, it could be on the 31st. She's going to step into Cancer and immediately, want to be the embodiment of the goddess, the mother, the nurturer, the caretaker, sensitive, water. And it's just going to hit that fire of both Saturn, stern Saturn, and Neptune. And I get this just like image of her being sunburned. It's like, it's suddenly hot in here. And I'm less capable of handling the heat because I'm in this water sign, and I'm wanting to protect the children, and I'm wanting to protect my emotions. And so there's a certain level of sensitivity that will come, but you have to also set boundaries. That's one of the things about sensitive people. You realize, wow, okay, isn't it wonderful to be intuitive? Don't you want to open your third eye? Well, it just makes it so that you have a deeper sensitivity, which means you need to be more protective. It's the same way as like when you're, when the butterfly first emerges from the cocoon, right? It's got to sit in the sun. It's got to dry out a little bit, okay? So Venus, when she switches signs here, is going to really feel that. So just be aware of that and understand, again, she's being prodded to make some big decisions. She's being forced to harmonize something between the Aries area of life and the Cancer area of life. And so see what this kind of energy brings. Now, her exact square comes on August the 1st, so we'll be really paying attention to that. And luckily, she'll move on through it. But just be aware. And then we've also got some moon voids. Now, the moon will void late on the 29th, East Coast time, very late at night. But it will be void all day on the 30th, okay? And it doesn't come out of void until the 31st at 11:57 p.m. So almost the 1st. So we have a really extended period of time where things are going to be a little untethered, a little floaty. I think this is actually wonderful news because when Venus does step into that square, the moon will be void. And so she will be, she may experience some moments that feel difficult, but understand that they could be resolved somewhat magically, or it could be a problem that pops up that then sort of kind of dissipates, disappears, gets resolved. All right, so feel into that as you experience the week. Now, as far as the light of the week, Venus and Chiron, I'm loving that. I think that's really great. Versatile Venus and Gemini connecting with Chiron in Aries. Be your own healer, really, really heal your mind. Chiron station, I think that also will deliver some interesting messages. And that occurs on the 31st. And, on the 30th. And then that Sun-Mercury moment, that Cazimi, that aha moment in Leo. I am really looking for that for creative solutions. As far as the shadow of the week, well, yeah, Venus squaring both Saturn and Neptune. It's, it's the goddess coming into contact with the stern old man and the liar. Neptune can really be deception, illusion. It can be addiction. It really can be a slippery thing. Neptunian energies are very difficult for the human beings to handle, but Saturn's there delivering some instant karma as well. So I'm going to definitely have the caution flag up on that. Also, that super long moon void. If you have to do something, you have to do something. But if you can avoid making major commitments or decisions during that time range, and again, adjust it for your time zone. Hop on my website. I have a blog that has all the moon voids on there for 6 different time zones. So check that out and manage that energy well. So I am going to be doing the Celtic Cross on that Venus square to Saturn and to Neptune. So stay tuned for that. And if you found this useful and helpful, please please comment. It helps the channel to grow. Stick around for the Celtic Cross. Hello, my friends. Namaste. Let's take a look at a Celtic Cross tarot spread. Looking at that conflict between Venus in Gemini. Venus in Cancer. That's right. She pivots into Cancer and immediately comes into a difficult angle with grumpy old man Saturn and the illusory Neptune. So let's see how should we pose the question. This is for the collective. We're going to ask, how can we best manage this energy? What do we need to do to manage this energy with skill, with wisdom? All right, so as you know, the first card is you and me. It is us. 9 of Pentacles. Oh, fabulous. So this is the Independent Woman card. This is the one that says, look, these are all your responsibilities, but you have the assets and resources to do what you need to do. So take charge. Don't always look to other people. You are the architect of your life. What's crossing her is the Queen of Swords. She also has to really be making decisions based on the facts, the truth, the reality. This is not all pie in the sky, dreamy, hippie kind of stuff. This is like, okay, let's spreadsheet that. In the past, Queen of Wands, look at all this divine feminine energy. Yeah, well, we ask about Venus and that's when the goddess shows up, right? So in the past, we've been trying to do the right things, right? We've been taking action. Future, Three of Swords. So the mind piercing the heart, thoughts and feelings in conflict. It's only a 3. It is difficult, but it's interesting because this was the outcome of the Celtic Cross last week. And so here, we're still in this uncertainty, emotional uncertainty. Crowning thoughts, Justice. Yeah, we're trying to make, again, major decisions, but we're trying to figure out what's right, what's fair, what's just, what's the right decision. And our subconscious says Death. This is making us aware of something that needs to end. Advice. The advice is 10 of Swords. It's to realize that if things do not go as planned, if they do not work out, if there is a feeling of defeat or loss, it is simply the universe taking away something that is not for you because there's something better. Outside influence. The Star. So the Star comes after the Tower. This is the influence of finding hope amongst the ruin, finding the positive attitude, having the good attitudinal karma to encourage yourself to continue, to pick up the pieces and rebuild. What do you want to happen? The Hierophant. Maybe it's that you'd like to consult with somebody, you'd like to be told what to do, someone with a sense of spiritual authority or moral authority to help you on your way. So it could be that you want to be able to rely on somebody else, or maybe you feel like you just need that additional confirmation about your own instincts. What will happen? Knight of Wands. No, Pentacles. Knight of Pentacles. So the Knight of Pentacles is relates to money, relates to material resources and wealth, relates to how we practically get the raw materials of life, right? Roof over our head and food in our bellies. So this is moving forward, taking action based on what has unfolded this week. I would imagine it is this ending, this 10 of Swords situation that is going to compel us to move forward in a new way. And the reader's fan, the Lovers. Wonderful card to get. This card was in the Isis Lotus tarot spread for this week, so that's really interesting to observe. Something that's really good for you. 8 of Cups, but that means you might have to let something else go in order to get it. The Moon. Really watch the emotional response to things. Watch your intuition. And finally, the High Priestess reminds you, again, the divine feminine is here. Venus, she will emerge victorious from this battle. All right, well, I hope this was useful and helpful. I hope you have a marvelous week. Drop a comment below. Let me know how it unfolds for you, and I'll see you next week. Bye.